Have you ever had that inexplicable feeling of knowing something without being able to explain it? That gut feeling that tells you which path to take without logic backing it up. Have you ever wondered what lies behind those deep perceptions that arise unexpectedly? Is it possible that there is an inner wisdom that goes beyond reason and connects us to something greater? Have you ever felt guided by something you cannot see or touch, but you know it is there? If you have ever asked yourself any of these questions, then you are in the right place. Intuition is the ability to perceive with the soul. A silent compass that guides us when logic and reasoning are not enough. It is that internal voice that whispers answers before our conscious mind can formulate questions. Carl Jung argued that by connecting with this source of internal wisdom, we can uncover hidden knowledge deep within ourselves, revelations that have the potential to transform our lives in ways we could never have imagined. It is a phenomenon that we all experience to a greater or lesser extent, but that few manage to fully understand. Often intuition is associated with inexplicable feelings or hunches that seem to arise from nowhere. However, Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, attributed a much deeper meaning to it. For him, intuition was not just a fleeting mystery, but an essential psychological function that connects us with the unconscious and allows us to perceive patterns invisible to the naked eye. It is a process that transcends rational thought and direct observation, operating almost instinctively, as if it grants us access to a hidden dimension of reality. In this video, we will delve into Jung's perspective on intuition and the 4 distinct types he identified within his theory of psychological types. We will explore practical methods to cultivate each of these forms of intuition, analyze the profound benefits they can bring to our lives, and also learn to recognize if intuition is one of our dominant abilities. Get ready for a fascinating journey into the world of intuitive perception. The first type of intuition we will explore is sensory intuition, a deep and almost instinctive connection with the physical environment. It is not just about perceiving the obvious, such as sounds, images, or smells, but about picking up the more subtle signals that most people overlook. It is the ability to tune into the atmosphere around us, to perceive small variations in the environment, and to read between the lines what is not said in words. Imagine entering a room, and without anyone uttering a single phrase, you feel a tension in the air. Perhaps the space feels dense, the energy seems charged, or you notice a slight discomfort for no apparent reason. That immediate feeling, that premonition that arises without a logical explanation, is sensory intuition in action. You're picking up details that others might ignore, nonverbal signals that your body and mind interpret automatically. This type of intuition is particularly strong in people who rely on their ability to read the environment to make quick and effective decisions. Artists, musicians, dancers, and performers use it to connect with their audience and with the essence of a scene. A great actor, for example, does not just recite lines. They feel the energy of their fellow actors on stage and respond authentically, conveying deep emotions even without words. The same goes for professionals working in high-pressure environments, such as negotiators or business leaders, who can detect changes in the dynamics of a meeting before anything becomes explicit. The following type is thinking intuition, a form of perception that combines the intuitive with the analytical. Although it may seem contradictory, this type of intuition allows one to reach logical conclusions without having consciously gone through each step of reasoning. It is that eureka feeling in which we suddenly understand the solution to a problem without being able to explain exactly how we arrived at it. Think of Sherlock Holmes, the famous fictional detective. Although his methods seem almost supernatural, he is actually making connections at an intuitive level, perceiving patterns and interpreting information so quickly that it seems like magic. In real life, this type of intuition is crucial for scientists, inventors, and creative thinkers. Albert Einstein, for example, relied on his intuition to guide him toward revolutionary ideas before he could formulate them mathematically. As he himself stated, imagination is more important than knowledge, and part of that imagination is fed by an intuition that transcends immediate logic. This type of intuition is also invaluable in fields such as programming, engineering, and solving complex problems. An experienced software developer, for example, can detect a bug in their code without reviewing every line, simply because their mind has already made connections in the background. Similarly, a business strategist can see the right path for their company even before the data supports their hunch. The third type of intuition is sentimental intuition, a deep connection with emotions, both our own and those of others. It is the ability to sense the emotional states of others without them needing to express what they feel explicitly. Those who possess strong sentimental intuition can perceive subtle changes in a person's voice, posture, or energy, and understand what is truly happening inside them, even when they try to hide it. Have you ever felt that someone close to you was not well, even though they insisted that everything was fine? Perhaps their smile seemed forced, their tone of voice had a slight tension, or their gaze conveyed something different from their words. Without the need for explanations, you simply knew that something was wrong. That is sentimental intuition in action. This type of intuition is particularly strong in people with high empathy, such as therapists, counselors, teachers, or even friends and family who seem to have a sixth sense for detecting when someone needs support. It is also key in leaders and communicators who know how to read the energy of an audience and adapt to their emotional needs in the moment. For example, think of a great speaker who is able to modify their speech according to the audience's reaction, intensifying their message when they feel that people are engaged, or changing their approach when they sense that they are losing interest. Or a teacher who notices when a student is having a bad day and finds a way to motivate them without the student having to say a single word. But this form of intuition not only works with others, it also helps us understand ourselves better. It allows us to recognize our emotions before they become overwhelming, anticipate impulsive reactions, and navigate our interpersonal relationships more effectively. In a world where we are often taught to ignore our emotions or suppress them, developing sentimental intuition can be a powerful tool for living more authentically and connected. The fourth and final type of intuition is spiritual intuition, a perception that goes beyond the tangible and delves into the transcendental. It is the feeling of being connected to something greater than ourselves, whether it be the universe, the collective consciousness, or a deeper dimension of existence. This form of intuition allows us to grasp hidden meanings in the events of life and to feel that there is a greater purpose behind what happens to us. Have you ever experienced the feeling that the universe is sending you signals? Perhaps you thought of someone and suddenly that person calls you. Or maybe you made a decision based on a hunch and then discovered it was the right path without a logical explanation. Spiritual intuition operates at that level, as if you are in tune with a greater intelligence than rational thought. Carl Jung spoke of this type of intuition in terms of the collective unconscious, the idea that we share a reservoir of ancestral knowledge that influences our deepest thoughts and instincts. For Jung, many of our most powerful intuitions come from symbols, archetypes, and universal patterns that resonate within us without our full awareness of it. This type of intuition is common in people with a strong sensitivity to the philosophical or the transcendental, mystics, artists, writers, or anyone who asks deep questions about existence. It is also key for those who feel a deep connection to nature, or who find meaning in synchronicity and seemingly impossible coincidences. Imagine a poet who feels the need to write about a topic without knowing exactly why, only to later discover that his work has deeply touched many people on a level he himself had not anticipated. Or a scientist who, after years of research, experiences a moment of revelation that leads him to a revolutionary discovery. Spiritual intuition does not always have immediate logical explanations, but it often guides us toward paths that over time make sense. Ultimately, this type of intuition invites us to trust in something greater than our rational mind and to be open to the invisible connections that surround us. By developing this ability, we can find more meaning in our experiences, make decisions with greater clarity, and feel more aligned with our life purpose. Carl Jung was convinced that intuition was not simply an innate gift, but a capacity that could be strengthened through practice and awareness. According to him, we all have access to this source of inner knowledge. but it is often overshadowed by the noise of the rational mind and the distractions of daily life. To help people reconnect with their intuition, Jung proposed various techniques designed to refine this perception and allow us to access deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. One of the most important methods that Carl Jung not only practiced but also encouraged others to use was active imagination. This technique is a powerful tool for opening a direct channel to the subconscious, allowing hidden images, thoughts, and emotions to emerge unfiltered. Unlike classical meditation, where the goal is to empty the mind, in active imagination the purpose is quite the opposite: to allow the mind to wander freely and observe what appears in that inner journey. Jung believed that this practice was a gateway to that part of us that we often ignore, a way to dialogue with the unknown within ourselves. By immersing yourself in it, you can give shape and voice to aspects of your psyche that normally remain silent, helping you to better understand what is truly happening inside you. If you want to experience this technique, here is a simple way to start. Find a moment when you can be quiet, without interruptions. Sit or lie down comfortably, close your eyes, and turn your attention inward. You can start by visualizing a question that is on your mind, or a specific scene related to something that concerns you. For example, if you are going through a moment of uncertainty and don't know what decision to make, imagine that you are inside that situation and observe what happens. Allow the images to unfold without trying to control them. Let the characters, settings, or symbols appear as your mind presents them. If you see a landscape, explore it. If a dialogue arises, listen carefully to what the imaginary figures have to say to you. The key is to interact with those images as if they were real, allowing the scene to develop spontaneously. The more relaxed you are and the less you judge what appears, the more valuable information you will be able to obtain. The fascinating thing about this practice is that it often reveals aspects of ourselves that we didn't even know were there. You can discover repressed emotions, hidden desires, or even answers to dilemmas that your logical mind couldn't resolve. That's why active imagination is especially useful for those who tend to overanalyze everything, or for those who live trapped in a constant internal dialogue. By giving space to the subconscious, you unlock a source of creativity, clarity, and self-knowledge that is not always accessible through rational thought. And this brings us to the second method that Jung deeply valued: dream interpretation. For Carl Jung, dreams were not mere random sequences of meaningless images, but a direct window into the unconscious world, a way in which our mind sends us symbolic messages about our emotions, internal conflicts, and deeper intuitive knowledge. Jung saw dreams as a kind of nocturnal intuition, a process in which our psyche works in the background to process repressed thoughts, resolve dilemmas, and offer us clues about our true emotional state. By learning to interpret our dreams, we can access valuable information about our fears, desires, and aspects of our psyche that would otherwise remain hidden. However, to truly take advantage of this resource, it is essential to develop the habit of recording and consciously analyzing them. A good starting point is to keep a dream journal. Place a notebook next to your bed, and each time you wake up, jot down any fragments of dreams you remember, no matter how strange or disconnected they may seem. At first glance, dreams may appear chaotic or illogical, but when recorded regularly, patterns and recurring symbols begin to emerge that can reveal important messages. For example, if you repeatedly dream of the same person, a specific place, or a particular situation, it is possible that your unconscious is trying to draw your attention to something that your rational mind has been ignoring, perhaps an unresolved feeling, a deep fear, or even an intuition about the path you should take in a certain aspect of your life. Jung believed that dream symbols are highly personal, and that, although there are universal archetypes, the key to understanding them lies in how they relate to you and your life experience. By analyzing the elements of your dreams and reflecting on what they might represent for you, you immerse yourself in a process of self-knowledge that strengthens your intuition and allows you to better understand your inner world. Over time, this habit not only improves your ability to remember dreams, but also helps you trust your intuition more. Little by little, you will start to notice that your subconscious has always been communicating with you. You just didn't know how to listen to its messages before. And this brings us to the next method of intuitive development that Jung recommended: keeping a journal. Keeping a journal is not just an exercise in self-expression, but a profoundly effective tool for strengthening your intuition. When you put your thoughts on paper without filters or judgments, you give space to your subconscious mind to manifest in ways that often go unnoticed. This type of spontaneous writing, known as stream of consciousness, allows ideas, emotions, and connections to emerge that you might not have discovered if you had only reflected rationally. To take advantage of this method, start your writing session by focusing on a specific topic. It could be a concern that troubles you, a difficult decision you need to make, or simply a vague emotion you feel but cannot fully understand. Don't worry about grammar, coherence, or structure. The goal is not to create a polished text, but to let your thoughts flow unrestricted. Write everything that comes to mind, even if at first it seems like a jumble of meaningless words. As you continue writing, patterns, recurring phrases, or symbolic images may begin to emerge that reveal hidden aspects of your intuition. You might find that, without realizing it, you write the answer you were looking for, or notice a common thread among your thoughts that helps you see the situation more clearly. This process also allows you to identify subconscious beliefs that may be influencing your decisions without your awareness. For example, you might discover that the fear of failure is affecting your ability to take risks, or that a critical inner voice is blocking your confidence in a certain area of your life. Over time, the practice of journaling not only helps you get to know yourself better, but also hones your ability to listen to and trust your intuition. And this leads us to another fundamental technique for developing intuition: meditation. Meditation acts as a bridge to intuition, providing a space of calm where the mind can detach from external noise and constant distractions. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, rational thoughts and worries tend to dominate our attention, drowning out that subtle and wise voice that resides within us. But when we allow ourselves to enter a state of stillness, that voice becomes more audible, clear, and accessible. Incorporating meditation into your daily routine is a simple yet powerful way to strengthen your connection to your intuition. You don't need long sessions or complicated techniques. Just dedicate 10 to 15 minutes a day to a moment of introspection. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. As thoughts arise, instead of clinging to them, let them pass without judgment, as if they were clouds moving in the sky. Over time, you will notice that this habit not only reduces mental noise, but also allows intuitive insights to emerge more spontaneously and frequently. Perhaps in the midst of a meditation session, you will have a flash of clarity about a decision you have been analyzing unsuccessfully for days, or maybe an unexpected idea will appear out of nowhere, giving you a new perspective on a problem. The development of intuition does not happen overnight. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to listen. But the fruits of this work are invaluable. As you deepen your connection with this internal ability, you begin to notice significant changes in various areas of your life, from greater confidence in your decisions to more fluid creativity and a sharper ability to solve problems. Now let's explore in detail some of the transformative benefits that manifest when you strengthen your intuition. The first of these is increased creativity. When we are truly connected to our intuition, we open ourselves to a field of knowledge that goes far beyond what logic or rational thought can offer. This direct connection with our inner self allows us to access ideas and intuitions that might otherwise remain hidden or out of reach. By tuning into that deeper part of ourselves, a powerful and overflowing creativity awakens, capable of leading us to think in unusual and unconventional ways. This is the foundation of true innovation. A clear example of how intuition enhances creativity is the case of some of the greatest geniuses in history, such as Salvador Dali or Leonardo da Vinci. Both artists, known for their ability to create works that challenge the norms of their time, often mentioned that their creative success did not simply stem from their intellect, but from a deep and even instinctive understanding that arose from a profound connection with their intuition. When these visionaries connected with their intuition, They could access a realm of ideas and visions that were not easily accessible to the conscious mind. It was as if their creativity fed off an infinite source of inspiration that went beyond logical understanding. This ability allowed them to create not only intelligent works, but truly inspired ones that transcended conventional thinking and left a lasting impact. The difference is clear. While logical thinking can help us create something functional or structured, intuition has the power to guide us to the extraordinary and the unique, something that cannot be forced or planned but emerges from within. This genuine inspiration is what gives rise to the most innovative ideas. But not only does creativity benefit from a greater connection with intuition, we also experience a notable improvement in our ability to solve problems. Intuition has an amazing power to provide us with shortcuts that allow us to solve problems more quickly and effectively, avoiding the lengthy and detailed processes of step-by-step logical thinking. Often, when we find ourselves in a complex or challenging situation, our intuition activates, guiding us to the very root of the problem without having to go through a detailed path of analysis. It's as if suddenly, without an obvious reason, we begin to feel drawn to a specific solution, as if something within us knows exactly where to go. Imagine you are working on a complicated project at your job, perhaps trying to find a way to overcome an unexpected obstacle. In the midst of your effort to seek answers, a thought or idea suddenly arises and leads you to a solution that, somehow, seems to fit perfectly. You may not be able to explain how you arrived at that conclusion, but you realize that in some way it is the right answer. This type of intuitive leap not only saves you time, but also optimizes your energy, as you do not need to follow every logical step to reach a result. An excellent example of how this process works can be seen in detectives. While the meticulous work of examining evidence and applying logic is essential in any investigation, detectives also rely on hunches or intuitions to connect the dots quickly and efficiently. Just like them, when we apply our intuition, we can jump straight to the solution, which would otherwise take much longer if we only used an analytical and sequential approach. Intuition allows us to make quick and deep connections, often guiding us toward the most appropriate answer, without having to go through the slow and sometimes complicated process of breaking down every detail. This ability to see the big picture in an instant is what enables us to make decisions more effectively and quickly without getting lost in a tangle of unnecessary details. This power of intuition is also key to enhancing our decision-making ability. One of the main benefits of cultivating and honing our intuition is the substantial improvement in our ability to make decisions. In everyday life, we encounter situations where the answers are not black or white, where there is no clearly right or wrong option. Logic and analysis provide us with useful tools, but they can only guide us to a certain point. There comes a time when we must trust our instinct and the inner judgment that derives from it. When we manage to develop our intuition, we acquire a special skill to navigate through complex decisions. This development allows us not only to weigh the concrete and tangible facts, but also to consider the more subtle and intangible aspects that pure reason might overlook. These factors include how a decision resonates with our deepest values, or how it may affect our emotional well-being. Often, it is this connection with our inner self that gives us the clarity needed to choose what we truly need, even if it does not fully align with the logical guidelines of the moment. For example, imagine you are faced with an important decision, such as choosing a career or professional path. It is a decision influenced by multiple aspects, such as economic security, growth opportunities, but also personal fulfillment. Although logical analysis can help us evaluate the pros and cons of each option, intuition plays a crucial role in guiding us toward the path that truly resonates with our deepest desires and our purpose in life. Sometimes, the right answer is not the option that seems most obvious at first glance, but the one that connects us deeply with who we are and what we want to achieve. By learning to listen to and trust this inner wisdom, we have the ability to make decisions that are more aligned with our authentic essence, which over time will likely lead us toward a more satisfying and fulfilling life. In fact, these decisions may be the ones that ultimately lead us to lasting happiness and greater long-term satisfaction. Intuition, therefore, not only helps us make better choices, but also gives us greater self-confidence to act according to what we truly desire. And this leads us to a higher level of self-awareness, which is essential for living a more authentic life and being at peace with ourselves. In the end, using our intuition not only helps us solve problems and make decisions, but it also plays a fundamental role in deepening our understanding of ourselves. When we take the time to listen carefully to our deepest thoughts and feelings, we begin to perceive patterns and signals that allow us to discover our most authentic desires, our hidden fears, and the motivations that truly drive us. This process of self-awareness is incredibly valuable, as it provides us with the necessary tools to make decisions that reflect our true essence, rather than following paths dictated by external expectations or by what we believe we should be. For example, you may realize that, without seeking it, your intuition urges you to spend more time on activities that deeply connect you with your being, such as painting, writing, or any form of creative expression. This can happen even if you have always considered yourself a very practical or logical person. By paying attention to these internal impulses, you begin to understand more clearly what brings you joy and makes you feel fulfilled, and this goes beyond the surface of what we think we like or need. This deeper understanding of oneself opens the door to a life that feels more authentic and genuine. It allows you to align with your true self, not just with what you expect to be or what others expect from you. In this way, you will begin to live in a manner that is more consistent with your deepest desires and passions, and not just with the demands of everyday life. Developing your intuition brings with it a wide range of transformative benefits. However, it is important to ask yourself, how can you know if you are already connected to your intuition naturally? Fortunately, there are certain signs that may indicate that you are already in tune with your inner wisdom. People who have an intuitive nature often feel a deep connection with their inner world and possess a particular sensitivity to the more subtle layers of life. If you've ever wondered if you are a naturally intuitive person, there are some clear signs that could indicate you are more connected to your intuition than you think. Pay attention to how you respond to everyday events, how you process emotions and situations. You may find yourself with a quick understanding of problems or knowledge that seemingly arises from nowhere. These are some of the signs you can start to identify in yourself. Are you ready to discover more about your own journey towards a deeper connection with your intuition? One of the first signs that may indicate you have a strong connection with your intuition is your ability to pay constant attention to your own thoughts and feelings. If you are one of those people who often reflect on the origin of your emotions or deeply question the purpose of life, it is very likely that your intuition is active. People with an intuitive nature tend to experience their feelings with great intensity, perceiving emotions within themselves long before others can identify what is really happening around them. This type of internal connection not only allows them to understand their own emotional states, but also to intuit what might be happening with the people or situations surrounding them. Imagine finding yourself in an apparently normal social situation, like a gathering among friends or colleagues, and suddenly you are overwhelmed by a feeling of discomfort. You can't put your finger on what is causing it, but something is not right. This ability to feel without an immediate logical explanation is a clear sign that you are in tune with your intuition. You have the ability to pick up on what others might overlook, such as subtle emotional cues or unexpressed dynamics in an environment. This type of sensitivity to your emotions and internal reactions is not trivial. It is a form of deep connection with your inner self, allowing you to navigate life with greater clarity and understanding of yourself and others. As you develop this ability to be in touch with what is happening inside you, it becomes easier to recognize patterns and guide your decisions based not only on what you see or hear, but on what you feel deeply and authentically. An effective way to identify if you're in tune with your intuition is to pay attention to how you behave in daily situations. People with intuitive sensitivity often notice patterns and subtle connections that many times go unnoticed by others. They have a kind of inner wisdom that allows them to know something instantly, even when the objective evidence is not yet clear. This type of intuition presents itself as a hunch or a feeling about something, guiding you to act even when you cannot exactly rationalize why. For example, you might inexplicably avoid a meeting or a particular person without having a concrete reason to do so, only to later discover that it was the right decision. Your intuition may have guided you to avoid something that ultimately turned out to be potentially harmful or ill-timed. Similarly, intuition can also manifest practically in your daily life. You might feel a sudden urge to reach out to a friend or family member you haven't spoken to in a long time, only to find out later that this person was going through a significant difficulty and needed support. Or you might experience an inexplicable attraction to certain interests or activities that ultimately turn out to be deeply meaningful or transformative for you. Observing these behavioral patterns in your everyday life is an excellent way to recognize how your intuition is working behind the scenes. It is an invitation to trust more in those internal instincts, which can guide you toward decisions that are more aligned with your true self and purpose. As Carl Jung pointed out, intuition plays a fundamental role in our psychology. It is a pathway that connects us to something beyond the tangible and rational world, a bridge to an inner realm of deep knowledge, where the answers to many of our questions already exist, even if we do not yet fully understand them. By understanding the 4 types of intuition, we can access a deep knowledge that goes far beyond what our logical and rational mind normally perceives. Intuition is not something that arises automatically. Rather, it is a skill that develops over time and with practice. As we have explored, there are multiple ways to cultivate this skill, such as active imagination, dream interpretation, the habit of keeping a journal, and regular meditation practice. Each of these techniques offers a unique path toward discovery and connection with our inner wisdom. As you put these methods into practice, you will be surprised to notice how you begin to experience a range of profound benefits. These include increased creativity, the ability to solve problems more effectively, clearer decision-making, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Intuition acts as a guide that allows you to see solutions where there were once only doubts and provides clarity in moments of uncertainty. It is important to remember that intuition is not an exclusive talent of a few, but a capacity that we all possess to varying degrees. Whether you're a naturally intuitive person or just starting to explore this aspect of yourself, keep in mind that intuition works like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger and more accurate it will become. Every time you take the time to listen to that inner voice, you will notice that it becomes clearer and more reliable, guiding you with greater certainty throughout your life. As you learn to listen to and trust your inner wisdom, you will realize that you are living a life that resonates more deeply with your authentic self. You will be guided by a clearer sense of purpose, direction, and understanding, allowing you to make decisions and face life's challenges with renewed calm and confidence. This space, this community, and this channel exist to remind you of your incredible potential and to accompany you in every step of your self-discovery process. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss any messages like this one. If this message has touched something within you, don't leave it here. Let its impact grow and extend beyond yourself. Share this video with someone who might need it, someone who is seeking answers, facing their own challenges, or who needs this moment of clarity that perhaps only you can offer them. Every time you share, comment, or like, you help this message reach more people. People who, like you, are in their search for a deeper connection with their true essence. Thank you for being here and for accompanying me on this journey. Thank you for opening your mind and heart, and for allowing your intuition to guide you in this process of self-discovery. Beyond words, what we are experiencing is a collective movement, an awakening that invites us to connect with that inner wisdom that we all carry within. Never forget that, although sometimes the path may seem lonely, you are not alone on this journey. True change begins within you, and the world needs more people willing to listen to that inner voice, to trust their intuition, and to be authentic in their essence. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, always keep in mind, every step you take towards your intuition brings you closer to who you really are,